Welcome back to live coverage of YCS Ghent. Thank you for tuning on in. Thank you for stopping by. Now we're getting ready for round 3. And we have a very special situation right now. One of our players isn't too studious in the form of speaking English. So we're going to have his friend Mirko doing a bit of translation for us. So I'm going to be asking you both a mirror question. How are you guys feeling about the YCS, knowing that both of you are close friends? How are you feeling about it today?
Come ti senti col torneo, come sta andando e come dopo ti senti di giocare contro un giocatore che è tuo amico e tuo compagno di team? Okay. I'm feeling good, but I'm super sure that we think we are good because we bring a very good deck. And we are tested a lot, so the tournament is long, but the starts very well for both, and I'm super sure that one of each we can make it top. Unfortunately, we play against Bertu, but like last YCS, Marco and Alberto play. This is super unfortunate, but this can happen. And they won probably we won. He won the dice, we won. But
Okay. Well, that's pretty awesome, actually. So then, I don't want to take both of your time too long. So we'll be getting started immediately, so both of you can kind of take a seat. So, if I'm ready, the players will decide who'll be going first. Okay. So 11 to start off with Mirko. Ooh, okay. 10. So who goes first? Okay, so Mirko goes first. Players are ready. I'm ready. You're ready. I'll head it off to the casters. Matteo Bertulezzi and Leonard Koenig.
Hi everyone and welcome back. Pleasure to be here and with a new face next to me. So it's going to be an exciting day. So we have a lot of matches to show you guys. And as JJ was saying, this is an Italian match. So I joined in to do some commentary because I know them both very well. Something important to mention is that they are close friends, so they travel here together, they are staying at the same place, they prepare together, and no surprise, they are playing the same card-by-card deck.
Card by card, indeed.
Yeah, when we were basically approaching this event, of course, it was, and it's always one of those events in September where everything is new. We have a new Forbidden list, we have new cards, new season, so everyone is trying new decks, and we both do agree, though, I think, that one of the favorite decks for this event is quite a surprise one, Lunalight Orcust.
Indeed, the Lunalights have already won a YCS, basically as a rogue deck coming in with Raphael Naven as a surprising winner, not the player, but the deck.
Absolutely, the underdog, we can say, which was back at YCS Chicago in February of this year. I think it is the beauty of Yu-Gi-Oh! If you look back at that, everyone was shocked when they learned that Raphael won the YCS with Lunalight. And now we go forward a few months, and Lunalight is actually one of the favorites to win for this weekend. It is my personal favorite, and here we have two very good players. Let's remember Mirko won YCS London last year, so very good candidate to have a second win. And his friend Matteo is also quite known, especially in the Italian community.
And
so
they both topped Euros, so the last big tournament they both topped.
Absolutely, which gotta prove that it is the toughest competition of the year. But before quickly jumping into the match, I want to show you guys something important. So we mentioned that we have almost 1,800 players from the event, but we do have the country breakdown for you guys. I'm gonna bring it up in the screen now. So, Germany, hello there.
Yes.
As you can see, Germany, no surprise, as always, dominating the charts. But
Sehr gut, ja.
yeah, okay. But France, again, I think this year was really the revelation of how good of a country France is. We had a whole French final at the European Championship.
That was crazy.
We saw last round the European champion, unfortunately losing, but still in competition. And we gotta say a pretty decent chart. But things get really interesting when we go and take a look at the deck breakdown for the event. So let's bring that up. And there it is. Again, as we were saying, a lot of different things, a lot of different decks. Sky Striker barely at the top, even if the multi-roll was it and put at 1. Still a deck in contention, but we have so many different decks. As you can see, it's like 740 other decks. So unfortunately for this round, we already spoiled it for you guys. It's going to be a Lunalight mirror match. Dice have been rolled, our players are ready. I want to see this mirror match, so
yes, indeed.
Let's go to the table.
All right, perfect. Crazy, like all the decks that were not represented that often were still represented often. Like,
yes.
Draco and Pendulum's nearly scratching the 100 mark.
Absolutely, and it's a great thing. Obviously, it's always very weird to prepare for these kind of events, because usually you have at best 2 or 3 decks, but when you have such a wide format, it's very complicated. And so for people not knowing what Lunalight actually does, it's a combination of Orcust cards, so everyone knows that to go for the Orcust combo you just need 2 of anything really in Yu-Gi-Oh! And Lunalights are very good at doing it, but as you will see here, they are very good at playing through end shops because of this card. So Nyarla is in the field, and then it is gonna turn into an Azadot very soon. So hopefully we will be able to show you guys on screen. So
no Ash Blossoms, no Nibiru's, no Veilers, no nothing.
Talking of new cards, you just mentioned Nibiru, one of the incredible new promos that really took everything by surprise. But here, Hazadot, you can see Mirko is one of the best players in Europe at the moment, immediately catching up on Nibiru and finding a way to play around it, which is the Lunalight deck. Wow. And the snipe.
He activates Danger Tsushinoko and manages to discard his trap card, the Lunalight Serenade.
Yep.
Serenade Dance it is, right?
Absolutely. And as we were saying, basically, what the Lunalight core does for the Orcust deck, in the past we saw mostly like Trickster and Sky Striker cards, but they were both ate by the Forbidden List. So players had to find different ways. We see a few Cyber Dragon cards as well going around for this event. And the beauty of Lunalights is that they allow you to go into rank 4s, which a lot of people tend to forget how strong they are. Like Abyss Dweller really, I think, polarized last format with Salamangreat. So.
Or Force Tricks, the card that we just see right now. Card that pretty easily, upon the cost of detaching 1 material, searches out a Winged Beast, which is Blackwing Sephiroth the Elite.
Yeah. It's a very gimmicky deck. I want to say it's something that you just don't think by yourself like completely, but it works perfectly because it's a combination of different cards that just work very smoothly with each other. The very cool thing is that all of these cards are all dark monsters, which means they work perfectly under the Orcust restriction. But they're also different types, which, as you will see here, will come in handy because you can make Curios with them. So it's really a powerful deck, and I feel like probably the best combo deck for this event.
Curious is such a strong card. I mean, we all remember Laval Vault Chain, also an example for how strong rank 4 exceeds really can be. Curious basically does the same, but it's a lot harder to summon it. But in this deck, it's really not.
Yeah.
It can just send any card from the deck to the graveyard.
And we saw it the last time in the Dangers, like FTK decks, and this deck still plays the Dangers. Let's remember that the most popular ones are now semi-limited, but they're still there, and they're great in this deck just because they are extenders to either go for the Orcust combo or to go for the Curios. And
the best Danger for this deck is not on the Forbidden Limited list, which would be Danger Mothman, because this guy as well is a level 4 monster that accesses the good old Dweller cards
Absolutely.
or whatever you want to see. And it's an insect monster, and it's kind of cool seeing some play for the insects.
Yeah, not one of the most loved, let's say, types, but still there. Maxi being alone from us, like
Yes,
very far away from
indeed.
us. And I don't really miss him, to be honest, but some people do. So. Now he has quite a few options. As you saw, something not too conventional is send the Eradicator Virus with Curious. That is because you can play Nightmare Griffin to set it back, and that's such a powerful play against the Sky Striker or any trap-based deck, which is also another new card comes down. So
he goes for Appaloosa. I mean, he knows that he is going to play versus the Lunalight mirror match, so he might not prefer to have the Eradicator.
Appaloosa, again, we had new cards from the team, but we had new cards also from the last set. Appaloosa probably being one of the best cards, I would say, from the last set is powerful...
Link material.
Yeah, Link 4. And it reminds a lot of the Light and Darkness Dragon for anyone who was playing back in the day. But
yeah, right.
Let's see
Even
now.
this losing the 800 attack points, but
Exactly.
he linked it away for a Galatea. That's pretty costly for a Link 2.
Yeah, I'm wondering what he's going to go for. Like, it doesn't seem like this was the most obvious line of play. So I'm very intrigued by this. But again, he does know what his opponent is playing. And maybe he's just happy with this. Is that really it? Because if he does this, then the counter trap is also turned off.
Yep.
Wow, very surprised by this opening from Mirko. Because let's remember that for Crescendo you need the
Link monster. Yeah.
So, very surprised by this, but maybe he thinks that the Abyss Dweller is enough. And to be fair, it is one of the strongest cards in the mirror match. So, though I'm very surprised by this.
Also with the Dingirsu protection effect, he can leave the Dweller on board.
Yeah.
He must attack over it like 3 times to get rid of it, because Dingirsu can protect every time a card would be destroyed from Mirko's field. So now Jackalope is discarded for the Decision
Snipe,
yeah, and that would be really good for Matteo, but Dweller is active, so
Absolutely.
Jackalope won't be able to trigger in the graveyard.
And here, an important reminder is that the Abyss Dweller does work against spell and traps as well, not just monsters.
So no Foolish Burial, good
Yeah.
action for Matteo. I mean, he can activate it, of course, but it's not going to help him too much.
And it's tough here, because as you were saying, Lunalight is very good at going second as well against some matchups, just because you can easily go for like Nightmares to disrupt your opponent cards, and also go, for example, Tornado Dragon is away, but Dingirsu protects you from all of those, and that's maybe one of the reasons why Mirko went for this unusual opening. So
Did he not? I mean, do they play Nibiru in the main deck? But he used Azathoth. Like, he could have used the skeleton to summon something back. He didn't use it, right?
No, it's really a strange one. I don't even see like anything like super
He was
polymerization
lacking
or-
a monster to summon something back from the graveyard. I think he didn't have a way to get Galatea into the
Yeah,
graveyard.
because he needed to make the Dingirsu up. But then why did he go for the Appaloosa there? Because he would have had one more monster if
Indeed.
he didn't. So it's... I'm definitely very confused by his opening, but still putting in some work here.
I mean, the Dweller is maybe carrying him through the entire game. Matteo is now trying to destroy a back row card of Mirko,
Yeah.
but I don't think that this is going to work out too well for him, as Dingirsu is sitting there in attack position, looking aggressive. Yep.
It really doesn't, yeah. And all it is going to accomplish is detach one material from Dingirsu, and now he's going to try his best, but his options are very limited, because even though he can access his own copy of Dingirsu, that's probably about it. So
I mean, he could have spared his card in hand, right? Didn't have to discard something
but I mean, he just did it because it was the Martin, so might as well have that engraved instead of it. But I think he knows that there is not too much he can do, so...
Also, he has the skeleton in hand. I mean, skeleton doesn't really do too much. You can just summon a second nightmare from his deck. Because I don't know if they're playing one nightmare or two, because
usually two, but
is a bit sloppily written.
That's fair enough, yeah. I do agree with you that it might seem like they're only playing the one copy, which would be very surprising, to be fair.
There must have been a discussion about it, at the very least. So.
And now, no surprise, as we were saying, the only play he has left is basically go for the Dingirsu and force something from Mirko. But then, one of the strengths of this deck is that if your opponent is not able to deal with everything you have, then you have a full grave of very good monsters that next turn are just as good.
So the tiger gets sent to the graveyard. Matteo will probably not be able to kill the Dweller. And
he would not be, yeah.
If it survives for another turn, this card could really hurt him. Also, I think that Mirko should be able to OTK through the one single Dingirsu. How many do they play in the extra deck? Oh, it's only one Dingirsu in the extra deck, so he can't out the Dingirsu with a Dingirsu.
Yeah, he can bring back his own Dingirsu from the graveyard with the skeleton to get rid of it. Point. So, I mean, all he needs to do is like probably go for a Boros Ward if that comes up, and it seems like this game, regardless of some unusual opening plays, is going towards Mirko, but
it seems like rolling the dice in this mirror match should be, at least for game one, really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're seeing them play a card in the side deck that hasn't been too popular, but is crazy in this matchup, which would be no material.
Yeah.
You can throw it on Nyarla, and the turn should be over.
There are a lot of different spots where you can punish the Lunalight players, and if so many different, we can call them pro players or like very experienced players, decided to play this deck, it is not a case. Like the deck is showing how good it is, and there are multiple reasons for its success. So it's consistency, first of all, which is always something that accomplished players tend to look for in an 11 rounds YCS plus top cut. And also the fact that he can do unfair things, like being able to just epidemic virus out of nowhere every like Mystic Mine, Sky Striker player, or even like the trap decks, and then it is something that you have to take into consideration. But again, Mirko taking the slow approach.
Mirko just... so, I mean, he plays a second Galatea, so he should have been able to set up the counter trap to make it alive, basically. Unfortunately, I don't speak Italian, so I cannot really figure out what the extra deck cards they're running that they're running, because I think him not killing his opponent must have something to do with the extra deck.
Yeah, most likely, and again, I'm very surprised by this, because like now it was harder to accomplish much rather than in turn one, but I feel like he still had a few options, and he really needs to pick up something. He drew the Foolish Brutal Goods, which was useless last turn because he didn't have anything to discard, but I'm pretty sure Matteo will pick up his card soon now that he sees what Mirko is able to do. So
I think that the Dingirsu who sends away the Lunalight Tiger was really important.
Yeah, it was definitely the correct play, because let's remember, I think it is by far the best card in the deck. The Lunalight Tiger is one of the better ones, just because it's not once per turn. As you can see, you can get it back with the Martin, just use it again. And if they destroy it, actually, you get even one more effect, which is just the cherry on top. Yeah,
it's the same as the ignition effect that it has. It just reborns a Lunalight card, monster, basically, from your graveyard. So let's see if he directly goes into Boros Ward or if he decides to go for more motions.
Seems like he's going for Boros Ward.
Yep. I mean, he's going to detach. He's going to activate the skeleton from his graveyard.
Yeah. And he still has access to the tiger in hand, so...
Yep. So he should be able to summon the Dingirsu, send away the Dingirsu of his opponent, and normal summon a monster.
Yeah.
Now, does he find a way to make the Kaleidochick big enough?
The thing is, if your opponent's set master is like not that relevant, then this is already enough. So
but he can activate the Nightmare.
He's even
And
boosting it, so...
He is pushing the Boral Sword Dragon, which makes sense as it can attack twice.
Absolutely, and...
So that should be enough with Kaleidochick. How much...
Yeah, it doesn't have much defense, especially, so all you need to do is just attack over the face down and then double attack, so...
Yeah.
Should be more than enough. Let's just have some quick math here because you don't want to...
Quick maths.
Mess it up, but...
So... Kaleidochick, he's a bit shy to attack, so Dingirsu attacks over the skeleton. And that's 3,400.
And this should be more than enough. He just has to order his attacks correctly. He does, and I'm pretty sure now we'll get to game 2. Yes. So
Yes,
game
indeed.
1 is taken by Mirko. So good way to start the match off. And to be honest, I gotta admit, he didn't seem as confident as he usually does.
No, absolutely not. I do not fully understand his first turn plays. Usually you wait, what is happening? So. Okay.
Fixing the situation real quick.
Just check the... Kaleidochick has 1,400 attack points, so that should be enough. If Boral Sword attacks for 6,800.
Yeah.
But... okay, so as you can hear, we're at a little lost for words.
Absolutely, but they figured it out now what's going on. They're just doing some calculation because they didn't want to have the wrong input here.
I just had that with Tom, that a game didn't end as it was over.
Yeah.
I hope this is not going to be a repetitive thing. I hope this is not becoming a pattern for today.
A course for your commentary match.
So, the Kaleidochick is sent to the graveyard because of the effect of Lunalight Tiger, I would assume.
Yeah. Could be because it reborns it with no attack. So let's just...
Yeah, let's check the...
Yeah. So we're back into the game, and unfortunately, Mirko, as we were saying, it didn't seem like he was as confident as usual with the deck. And it is something that we do see often where like players are informed about the deck being the best one in the room. Yeah, okay. That's the thing. So the monster summoned by Tiger cannot attack. So, wow, that's a big beat by Mirko, who is now risking losing a game that he would have never lost if played correctly.
And he can't activate his Crescendo. He has no cards in hand. The last set card seems to have been a spell. Could be a bluff, could also be called by the grave.
Hopefully called by the grave to even try and stay in this, but it's gonna be hard.
He has so many resources in the graveyard. Whatever you call by the grave, I think the turn of Matteo shouldn't be over after it.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough. And as we were saying, it is something that can happen when you go to an event, you have already your deck plan, but then a friend or you hear from somewhere that this deck is just the best for the event, and you change your mind and switch to just hoping that you're going to do well. But Lunalight is not the type of deck that you can just pick up by not having played. It's actually quite complicated to pilot at a very good level. And Mirko, unfortunately, proving in the wrong way how that's a fact. So.
Yeah, maybe a lack of preparation that is punishing him now by not... He couldn't end the game quickly enough, and now Matteo has sustained 2 full turns of Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, which is unbelievable,
Impressive,
to be
yes.
honest. But the merit is, I would say, more than being on Matteo. It's definitely on the opening, because I feel like more than last turn where, sure, maybe you got excited, and to be fair, they both forgot about the Tiger. Was the round 1, like the turn where he went for Apollosa and then he just cleared it, and it seems like a lot of confusion was going there, yeah.
Yeah, because he couldn't end on a Galatea on the field, just because... just because he went into the Apollosa that he just linked away afterwards.
It was definitely unusual, and now Matteo has the chance to come back, because even if the set is a Call by the Grave, he should be able to push enough, and if it isn't, then he's pretty much free to do whatever he wants.
I mean, if it's a Call by the Grave, the Dingirsu can be banished as Skeleton tries to target it.
Yeah.
And after that, it's going to be hard to remove the Boral Dragon.
And I think,
but now he baits it off with Tornado Dragon. That's really smart. That is really smart, because he knows where the Crescendo is set. It is the card in the middle column. And
very heads up play here.
Yeah,
and it is a Call by the Grave.
Wow, that was such a good move. Activating the bobble, targeting the Called by the Grave to just play around and just play around the possibility that it's there. And as the bobble is on the field, if he targets the Dingirsu or the Skeleton, he can just chain Skeleton to summon the Dingirsu. So now he has to take out a Lunalight card from the graveyard, because, as I just said, targeting the Orcust cards would not help him to win this game.
Absolutely. So very nice play here from Matteo, and he's now free to do whatever he wants with his Orcust cards. So he also has like unlimited access to the extra deck, at least, because they are only playing 1 copy of Dingirsu and 2 copies of Galatea, but should be more than enough, honestly.
Maybe it hurts Matteo that he didn't summon the Tornado Dragon in the Boral Sword zone, because I think he will try to send away the Boral Sword. It's hard to get rid of otherwise, and now he's losing the extra zone and has to get rid of the Tornado Dragon, which could have been useful later on.
Definitely should have used the zone, and let's see if that comes back to hurt him.
But hey, Dingirsu and Tornado Dragon is Orcust combo.
Yeah, unfortunately he's locked already into Darks, but he's still able to use the other Orcust cards he has. He didn't use the Crescendo yet, so this can get ugly real fast for Mirko.
So he attacks over the Dingirsu with the Tornado Dragon. That was just pushed by the Orcust Nightmare, and now he's going to go into probably another Galatea out of Tornado Dragon.
And as you were saying here, if he didn't go for the zone that he did, he could have kept the Tornado, which is huge because it just gets rid of the Tiger.
Yeah.
Potentially, or just something else that comes down.
So how many resources does Mirko still have? The engine that he's playing is not that big. 1 Skeleton, 1 or 2 Nightmares. It kind of looks like 1. He's only playing 1.
Yeah, they're usually playing just 2 of the Nightmares and 1 of the other ones.
Yeah, Harbor is also at
here.
1, I think. And yeah, it's in the graveyard. Nightmare should be as well. Shouldn't have been able to shuffle back that many cards. That's where oh, wow.
He picks up his cards, and this is a bad beat. So Matteo takes game 1 after such a long game in which, honestly, for more than 20 minutes we thought just Mirko would have won 100%. So unbelievable turn of events, but now we gotta just go to game 2 and take a look at the side decks. So they are gonna be the same once more. Let's remember they're playing the same card by card deck, which means here, as you can see, Mirko is gonna side in Summon Limit, much better cards than
Eradicator.
the Virus, yeah. And outside of that, it is just going to be a battle of attrition with Entrop. So we said that the deck is very good to play around the normal Entrops by making Azathoth.
Yep.
Ash Blossom in particular being almost always useless against the deck.
But they have found other solutions to the Azathoth problem in the mirror match. Their extra deck, their side deck looks like it's only targeted towards the mirror match, so they must have been expecting a lot of Lunalight Orcust. They have triple Infinited Impermanence, which is good against the deck because Azathoth doesn't deny it. You don't really, in your combo, you don't die to one single Impermanence.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if it's paired up with a Lancea or a No Material or Droll and Lockbird,
yeah,
then
it's gonna hurt. And as you were mentioning before, No Material is by far the best one yet. So it's very good against any Orcust deck just because they usually either use the extra deck zone for a Nightmare, which then turns into Mermaid, which just completely stops their turn. Or in this case, they make a Nyarla, so before the Azathoth, you can lock away their extra deck zone. So at the same time, you do have some mind games with the Nibiru, which both decided not to side at all. Must be, as you were saying, that they expected in mirror matches. But now we quickly go to game 2. They don't want to waste too much time because honestly, that's only about 15 minutes left in the round. So it would be a shame if it ended in a draw, honestly.
Indeed. And Matteo's hand looks packed. I've seen Nightmare, Orcust Nightmare. You don't want to draw that, especially if you're only running one copy, of which we are still not sure. But he also has Droll and Lockbird, a card that wasn't too popular versus the Orcust deck, but with the dangers and with Tanky and the Lunalight grave effects of the spell cards, this is still pretty good.
Now he goes for Thunderbird, which is something that we almost never see in the Lunalight deck, and the Droll and Lock comes down. So Droll and Lock not being super good against the regular version, but here, wow, okay, Mirko does draw one of these few Orcust cards, which is going to be huge.
And now he can go for the Curious.
Yeah. So very back and forth one. It is going to be faster than game 1. They really don't want to waste time at this point. But yeah, as we were saying, Droll and Lock is such a good card against any danger deck. And usually you only see like the level 4. But Mirko decided to play even like Bigfoot and Thunderbird, which is surprising, honestly.
I mean, it's basically just there for the... Oh, Crescendo got milled. That's interesting. I think it's just the type for Curious.
He doesn't go for the summon limit. Instead, as you were saying, he sends the Zephyros, and the Crescendo being sent could be huge, actually.
Does he have 2 Foolish Burial Goods in hand?
I think so, and now he has the... He has to go for Tsuchinaga, which is not good.
And if it gets hit, then okay, it doesn't.
Yeah, if he would have, I guess, sniped, but then here you don't even get the draw off it, so it's actually very tough. And
I mean, it wouldn't trigger. It already triggered in the graveyard once.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So either way, it was like a pretty subpar.
Yeah, the
play.
Lockbird is active.
Yeah.
Right. Now I get it.
I'm thinking if he could have sent the dance, maybe the Serenade dance, and maybe gone from there, but surely a tough call. It's like if you went for, like, obviously you can't go for Perfume under Droll and Lock, but if you go for the Serenade and then special summon Kaleido and at least end on a Beast Dweller, it seems like...
Do you not need to discard a Lunalight card for the Serenade dance?
Do you? I think
Let's
could
check.
be the case. But yeah, now it seems like he is completely forced to go into the Apollousa and Orcust, which is honestly better than the average opening from other decks.
Let's see if he keeps the Apollousa on the field for once.
Fair enough. And Okay, so there is being a little bit of a confusion here because they're saying if he normal summon already, that's a big issue. So now Mirko again being caught up by him playing too much, and if this Chuchinoko gets sniped, it does, wow. Basically he forgot completely that he already normal summoned the ARP, and he tried to just bounce it, which is so devastating here.
And Serenade doesn't need to discard a Lunalight card, by the way, I just checked that.
And I'm starting to feel bad for Matteo, because if you take a look at his hand, it is not looking good at all. He really relying on the danger, and if he was to lose this match, to game at least, even if Mirko is struggling, that would be very bad. So,
and I mean, this hand loses to the Appaloosa only, but there's one good thing. We now know that they are playing 2 Orcust Nightmare, because there are 2 in the hand of Matteo, which is not going to make him happy.
Yeah. Really surprised by this once more. I've never seen Mirko play the way he's playing today. It seems like he doesn't know the deck well, and he's... snipe. Would you have considered negating it, though?
Yeah, I would have negated it.
It's like if it resolves, then it just attacks over the Appaloosa, right?
Yeah.
Now he's considering negating again the second part of the effect. We know it would be good, but very unfortunate end from Matteo. Like,
look at this.
Yeah, you really don't want to open both of the nightmares.
This is really unplayable.
At least the tanky was picked up.
Yeah, and I mean, Kaleido Check is still a good normal summon. You can negate it with Appaloosa, but it doesn't make too much sense, as the effects, the good parts of the effects are actually not the effects, but the costs. So sending Yellow Martin as a cost to the graveyard. Attacking over the very weak Appaloosa.
And now, though, he's left with not too many options, so a very weird game. It's like now he can even take advantage of the fact that he milled the Crescendo, because he could use it in the end phase. So he's gonna go for it. So,
but can he OTK? Can he use this momentum that he has now?
But I don't think he really needs to. Like, Matteo literally has no playable cards in his hand, and now the Serenade is picked up.
That's a good point.
It's such a good... Yeah. I think this game is gonna end quickly, but we have said that in game 1 and got proved wrong, even though this time there is not much that Matteo can do to stop it. He has one more drawn and lock bird, but once the Orcust cards are already on the field, it gets a lot more useless. So.
And there are no more searchers in the game of Mirko. So.
Oh, and he can discard any card, as I was thinking with Serenade. So I'm very surprised once more by the play that he did. Yeah, and Matteo has seen enough, so he picks up his card. He doesn't want to waste time, because otherwise he can risk having a draw while he gets to combo off freely in game 3. And yeah, now let's. It's 1-1. The scores are even. The side decks also, because they are siding the same cards. So once more we will see, unless some very big surprise comes down where Matteo chooses to go second. It could be an option, honestly, because if you take your opponent off guard and you expect them to side in all those 11 hand traps, it could get rough. But
especially as you saw that Mirko kind of took interesting routes for the Lunalight Orcust combo in the first 2 games. You could consider letting him start, but I wouldn't want to risk it for the biscuit at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it just because we saw that the combos does take some time in general. So there are 7 minutes, but that's not like a huge amount of time. So you really don't want to risk losing or even having a draw. Well, if you let your opponent go first and then you stop them with some interaction, you get to play through your turn, and even if time is called, then there is a good chance that you could push some damage or even completely OTK during that turn. So I really don't mind going second when time is very close. So You never know, though. Maybe your opponent has a sneaky Gaga Cowboy there, and you lose because of
true,
that.
yeah, the rank 4s. Wow.
We did see some players citing Gaga Cowboy this weekend in Lunalight, so...
At the German Nationals 2018, one of a card that was cited a lot was Firecracker.
Oh,
That
is the end trap.
deals 1k burn damage.
But now we can see they're both being super fast with their draws.
Yeah, but Mirko really drew into the no material.
Let's see if he's gonna go first, though.
But there's a call by the grave.
Ooh, the end from Matteo is absolutely insane.
Yes.
He has all of the combo pieces plus call by the grave to stop the gnome. So if that's the only interruption from Mirko, this is gonna be fast, like a fast one. But
also Mirko drew I think double perfume and Serenade Dance plus the Tiger. So that looks really unplayable, even if Matteo would just pass.
So again, the only concern I have is time at this point. He has to play very fast here, and he's doing it. So props to him. The end is absolutely fantastic. He has even the art drone Zephyros to this car. He doesn't have to go into the Raid Raptor. So fantastic opening, really, and as good as it gets. And you can even afford to play around no material. It's very complicated, but
how do you do that?
It usually relies having an extra deck that's different. Like, of course, it depends how like all in you want to go and what you have in your hand, because you can just trick your opponent and go into a Link Chew that points down. Daruma, for example, is a card that does that. So now let's see. So he's gonna go into the Nyarla, and the gnome material will come down. Unfortunately, the call by the grave is there, and now he has to speed up, but there is still a lot of time on his hand. So
6 minutes, I think he could make it in 6 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And here you see the sick part about this deck. Nyarla not only is fantastic as you make the Azadot, but it triggers your Martin as well, which allows you to search for a spell and trap, in this case the Serenade Dance. So it
there
seems,
we go.
yeah, like this is gonna be the entire combo. Really needs to speed up, and honestly, he's playing very well and at quite a fast pace, I gotta say. So proving to Mirko maybe he is the better Lunalight player in this matchup, but let's see.
So now the Collider Chick was summoned by Tiger. Yeah, he really knows the deck.
Yeah, he's going turbo. You can see like he knows it very well. Of course, you don't want to get like super excited and then like completely messed it up, because like for example, I could see something going terrible here. If for example he goes for a full combo mix, the Abyss Dweller leaves it in attack position, for example, and then your opponent just attacks over it and you lose. But
or you summon an Appaloosa because you think you can, and then you actually can't.
I mean, possible as well. So they are also not playing cards like Pancratops in the side deck, which means, which is usually like a lot weaker against this kind of decks. But it's one card that, like, when time is very close, easily deals some life points. So
we have seen this in the World's playoff matchup, Jonas Koschel versus Jay Quincy.
Oh yeah, it was definitely rough, and even there where Quincy was completely like ahead of himself, like he had everything he needed, but then he had a little bit of a slip up. So
there is an now I'm scared. I'm scared. There is an Appaloosa.
Let's see if this time it will stay on the field, because we have been hyping the card a little bit, but if it's just a fodder link material, then ooh, and the Zephyros as well is a way you take damage for yourself, so you have to be careful.
Now he has to really speed up.
Yeah, now he has to go like super fast here, because
so he overlays them, and then he looked like he was trying to summon something from the graveyard. This is not how you exceed summon, kids.
Absolutely.
He's slipping
This
the
is
cards.
getting
He's
painful,
super
yeah.
nervous, yes.
Honestly, there are still 3 minutes, but he can know that his opponent end is not looking that great, and there are ways to play through this. So fantastic opening by Matteo, but
I mean, there are still 3 minutes. I think that Mirko, with his hand, is not going to take 3 minutes to realize
I don't
he
think
has to
so.
pass.
So very, very good show of how you should play this deck from Matteo. He spent only about 1 minute and 30 seconds like doing this, which is really impressive, and trying his best to take this match home.
So do you crescendo the tiger now? Okay,
Apparently you do. So must be something right with that. And
so Kaleidachik can send something. Doesn't really matter as there is the defense position Abyss Dweller on the field of Matteo
yeah, as I
Bertulezzi.
was saying, it was definitely relevant that he did that. Did he keep the Call by the Grave in hand? I think. Seems like it, right?
Which Call by the Grave?
From Matteo, because it seems like he has a Call by the Grave in his hand.
Really?
I mean from the show, yeah, it would seems like it, but now like that would have been really good to just punish it, because if Azadot potentially comes down here, then he can shut down Apollousa, and then maybe he's able to push some damage. Let's see what happens.
Oh, Phoenix.
Okay, Phoenix.
Now he's trying to draw cards, but can he not negate the effect with Apollousa to deny the draw? Even though then Apollousa would be weaker than Nightmare Phoenix. So 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock.
Wow, this is this is gonna be a close one. So now
100.
He takes 100
Wow.
and he needs to push the damage, but doesn't seem like Mirko has too much to do.
This is super intense. I think Matteo is just going to slam the Dingirsu over the Galatea.
And he just passed here, and now Matteo has all the time in the world to just attack. 1 minute is more than enough. We have seen it, as you were saying, even with Quincy against Joshua's man at the European Championship, that was a lot less. It was about 1 second, not 1 minute, but you don't want to mess up these kind of situations. And it looks like after a very back and forth mirror match, Matteo is going to be able to take it home. Let's see. Seems like he's doing a lot of unnecessary
He's going for
things.
the Cerberus to pop the Phoenix and get the draw. And I think it would be enough if you shout battle phase in your opponent's face now.
Enter battle phase, because this is getting very frustrating for me to even watch.
Yep. It's scary. Stop picking up stuff.
Oh my god. Just enter battle phase at this point, please.
Okay, does he do it? Does he do it? Oh, that's an attack.
He does. So he entered the battle phase. He's gonna swing with a lot of cards. His opponent does have the Serenade. Could that be enough?
I mean, there's no monster.
Yeah, it is discard the gnome, and
there's no Lunalight monster that has more defense or attack points
watch
than
him
Apollousa,
bring
right?
out sided Lunalight monster with like a lot of defense. But yeah, this comes down, and Matteo takes the match 2-1. Wow, what a fantastic show.
Indeed.
So let's go quickly to the post-match discussion. Wow, incredible match. Like before we said how good of a deck Lunalight was, and here we got just like the confirmation of it. A mirror match, two friends playing the same card by card deck list, and wow, really back and forth. So
yeah, I did not expect game one to go that way.
Not at all. Honestly, if there was an underdog in this match, even if they are both very good players, it probably would have been Matteo, because as we said, Mirko is a YCS winner, a lot more known in the international community, let's say, but my pick, and probably we can ask something to him later on in the day, is that he picked up his deck probably even directly at the event. It doesn't seem
I think it was the lack of preparation.
Yeah, I feel like Mirko is one of those players that spends so much time into preparing for the events that I cannot believe like he didn't prepare as much for this one. So probably was just confident with something else. Then he saw his friends using this and realizing, okay, that's just too good. I gotta play it as well. But hopefully we'll be able to be more confident with it throughout the day. It happened to me as well, honestly, where like maybe I didn't have the perfect players at the beginning. I remember like last year with Goki the same.
That happened to me too at Euros.
Exactly, at
yes.
Europeans.
Like
I
one
lost,
night
like,
before,
yeah.
I was destroyed by my
Exactly.
friends, and then I picked the deck up, and then kind of on the bubble,
Yeah.
I messed up my combo and lost the game in game 3.
Yeah, no, for me it was like pretty similar, and I mean those kind of situation happens, but you have to keep your nerves and then just keep doing what you think that's right, and hopefully you will get to that sweet top 32.
Yes, indeed. And like this game, as I saw the Appaloosa, I was like, wow, he has such a big extended combo. Like that's not the usual end board that the deck has. That's not the basic combo. You end on Crescendo and a Dweller and maybe the Eradicator Epidemic, which in this case was needed. So he went into Appaloosa and was like, wow, that's crazy. And then he linked it away and ended on basically nothing except for the Dweller.
Exactly. Yeah, we were definitely shocked by it, but we did get a glimpse in game 3 at least, thanks to Matteo, to what the deck is supposed to do with those kind of ends, and it's impressive, like ending on like 4 to 5 negations and interruptions with the possibility also of protecting your own stuff with Dingirsu.
And that could have immediately changed if he didn't draw into the Called by the Grave.
Yeah.
He would have been, his turn would have been over after no material.
Absolutely.
Because
so
I don't think they are playing the Dol Daruma.
No, they are not, and you can't blame them, to be honest. It's always like one of the situations where you understand that a deck is so much better than everything else, but are people really gonna switch to them? Like, it's risky. So as we saw in the deck breakdown, for anyone missing, you can go back and watch the pre-match discussion. We showed you guys what the country and deck breakdown was. So it definitely showed that there are a lot of Lunalights, because it's more than 100, but it isn't like skyrocketing number,
Nope.
you know.
No, but it's like a deck that so many really good players picked up.
Yeah.
I've seen so many names play the deck.
Absolutely. And when you see those many players playing the same deck, it is something that very rarely happens, like it did with FTKs, with Goki, but it's always decks that you remember as very strong ones. And it is our pick for the event to take, so we're gonna go and follow these players, of course, during the event. Anyway, this was all for round 3 from us. We still have 5 more rounds for the day, so keep watching, and we will be back soon with round 4.
Welcome back to YCS Ghent 2019. We are here with everyone's favorite chemical element, Lithium 2300, and third best burning abyss monster, Farfa. So, how's your weekend been so far?
We've mentioned it before, this is the first YCS we had in Belgium. No, the second actually, but the first regular YCS, because the first one was a sealed one, but very exciting. We hit like almost 1,800 people, and that's huge, especially for a YCS in Belgium. So, how was your tournament so far?
Well, it's round 3. So the important thing is we've had fun, and the friends we've made along the way. Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Okay. What were you playing?
I was playing Pure Thunder Dragon, and it's a good deck, but I've been enjoying the format so far. What about you?
Right. Yeah, same. I mean, as you mentioned before, there are so many decks you can play, and you can definitely top with almost anything. You have Orcust, you have Salamangreat, you have Sky Striker, Thunder. I mean, the list goes on. So many possible decks you can use to top, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the best things about this format so far, I think, have been the variance and the diversity of decks that you're able to play. I think with the new set that came out with the tin promos, which you are able to reveal at Worlds, we'll probably talk a little bit about that as well in just a moment. But I think that's really shaken up the format a lot with Nibiru crash landing, quite literally. So it's quite an exciting card, and I think it's given some kind of life to the format and shaken things up quite a lot from where we were before.
Yeah, we've seen like less people playing the Guard Dragon engine. Not sure if it's like the direct cause or the Nibiru and Dark Ruler no more, or like the biggest reason that people don't main deck or really slap in the Guard Dragon engine in anything. But yeah, I like the tins and the tin promos as well. My next question is the next TCG set should be Chaos Impact. which archetype or cards are you looking forward to most?
Chaos Impact is going to be legal for YCS London, I believe. So the advantage is there is that you'll be able to play that in a competitive environment. I'm looking forward to the Marine Cess and being able to combine that with the Paleozoic archetype, because trap cards are really, really fun to play with, of course. The Hakai archetype looks really interesting. I believe you might have done some coverage on that so far.
Yeah, right. Hakai, like destroying your own stuff. Yeah, it's a really cool and interesting archetype. You can like link summon using your opponent's monsters as well. So it's something interesting, right?
Yes.
Like my most, at least the most favorite arc that I'm looking forward to most is the GB one, the Gladiator Beasts. Again, very interesting. New Test Panther, new combos you can make, full boards that you can negate stuff from your opponent, all going first with Titanic Galaxy first turn, the new GB monster that negates monster effects. Heraclinos as well, but yeah, anyway, so that's the most thing I'm looking forward to most for the new set.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your influencer meeting at the World Championship this year? As you guys may or may not be aware, Lithium was able to go along and do, as always, some of the most amazing coverage with all his deck profiles that he normally does at every European event, which I don't think you've missed one for the last like 5+ years or something. Tell us a little bit about your experience at the World Championship and how that was as a content creator.
Right, yeah, there were a lot of content creators from all over the world, like from the States, from Japan, Europe as well, Australia. It was amazing of actually meeting the people, and you're looking like on YouTube the videos, and now the first time you're actually meeting those was first of all a huge thing, a cool experience. But like you get some backstage access as well, some sneak peek of the tin promos also. So those things were very enjoyable. But mainly also on day 2, we had like the big show where all the people also could like participate, and with all the big screens, and it was one of the best experiences I've had with this game, and I've been playing like since 2003, 2004. But again, yeah, like a mind-blowing experience of living like the whole world's experience. So I've mentioned in my previous videos as well, if you have like the opportunity or the chance to actually participate or like viewing or spectating at Worlds, you should definitely do that. Yeah.
For the actual strides that Konami have been taking with content creators such as yourself to be able to get more involved with the community and get more like an official like representation of what you can produce and interview and stuff. Are you excited in the sense that you'll be able to like attend more of these events and like have more like reveals and stuff, which we'll be probably talking a little bit more about later. What is it that you're like most looking forward towards?
You mean from like the opportunity or the potential, maybe let's say interviews in the whole area, or
everything?
Everything. Okay. Yeah, I remember like years ago, content creators or people who made like videos from deck profiles weren't allowed to record anything inside the venue, and we always had to ask the player to move outside or go to like the restaurant or something to make a deck profile. But that's like a huge increase compared to years ago, that now we are finally allowed to, in like the YouTube area, or just ask the players to make their video or get them the permission and just make the video quite quick, and it's very convenient. But it's just also the fact that we were able to like reveal content like the tin promos at Worlds, and I feel it creates hype for us, of course, for the people attending at these events, but also from the people at home. They're like, oh, these promos, oh, I wanted this, oh, sadly this card isn't in that, but it's something that again creates hype, and it's all for the best, I think, for the game in general. Yeah,
for sure. With the upcoming set of Chaos Impact, we've talked a little bit about it so far. What exactly are you going to be most looking forward towards in the set?
Yeah, again, the GBs, I think, at least as an archetype. Maybe Hakai as well, but I've been keeping up with OCG as well. They already have the Hakai archetype, but it needs a little bit more. But again, the mechanic of being able to use or link summon using your opponent's monsters, it's quite interesting. It's definitely something that could build upon, or maybe like a small engine slapped in like a deck. So again, it's very interesting to see how that maybe is going to develop. Yeah.
For the most recent set, that was Fist of the Gadgets, I believe, was, I don't think a core set of sorts, but definitely a lot of awesome reprints and stuff. We saw the resurgence of quite a fan favorite deck, one of the first decks that I personally started playing with competitively back in 2014 or something, I want to say now. Fire Fist, getting a whole bunch of new sports, Panda, Elephant, and you guys might have seen on, for example, Lithium's channel just how crazy that archetype can get. What's your thoughts on it, and do you think it's got any kind of potential, at least maybe like perhaps at like the tier 1 level of competitive play?
Yeah, as soon as they revealed like the new Fire Fist support, I was like, oh man, this seems very, very amazing. And then you start like playtesting at locals, for example, and you're like, you can play like these all combos going +10, going +11 first turn, so again, crazy stuff. But it feels like it's missing a little bit to actually put like the deck at top tier status to make it like a good, solid, consistent deck, because it's like 1 or 2 hand traps might like cause you to instantly stop your combo, and yeah, so the deck is still missing that little bit. But it's the potential is there, but again, there's something the deck is still missing.
Dragon, as you guys may or may not be aware, is not once per turn, so that's pretty fun. So I think we're pretty much just gonna about wrap it up now, or keep going, rather, pardon me. So, as we've been discussing so far with all the various different decks that we've seen coming to fruition through the current support that we've seen, like Fist of the Gadgets and more sets in the future, I guess we can maybe go through, a couple of the archetypes like individually. I know you've done a little bit on Marine Cess, for example. What's your general thoughts on that? Because I know that currently we have, with the Rising Rampage special editions, a lot of Marine Cess cards that were originally going to be in Chaos Impact are now going to be in the special editions. But one card I am looking forward to for the Marine Cess archetype is the Towers-like monster. Yeah. What's your general thoughts on the Marine Cess?
It's the Link 4, right? But the Link 4 only gets like the Towers effect if you use Crystal Hearts, if that's the correct name. It's interesting. I mean, it has been quite a while, ever since I last saw or read the cards, but again, you can kaiju them, right? Or at least the thing is that even though you have like a big combo you can do, there are still some weaknesses to like get your whole combo apart. But I mean, the Marine Cess deck could like play around it, since there's one card in the game, but I can't remember the name, that prevents your opponent from, like Mask of Restrict to tribute summon, or the Kaiju is a special summon, I think, right?
Not.
Or is it tribute summon?
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but there's like a card that prevents your opponent from kaijuing yourself. So that's something that's maybe a strategy that Marine Cess should take into account, or maybe side deck or something like that. Since again, I mean, the thing, or at least the biggest advantage they have, is that you have so many combos you can do and so many two-card interactions that it's quite easy to recover your big beat sticks. And that's something I like. Even though you could make your Towers-alike monster protected with Crystal Heart, let's say your opponent can get rid of it, you can easily recover it with your resources, and so the deck again has potential, yeah, when it gets the full support in the new set.
Yep, for sure. I'm most excited to mixing it with Paleos and stuff, so I'm really